So I've had the Sony ZV-E1 now for just over a month. This camera is 6 months old, but I've sort of switched from Canon to Sony recently. And I've got to say, this is something I should have done a lot sooner. This camera is so good. I've got this cage on from Tilter so I can rig it up. So, I mean, this is what you're looking at. This is the 35mm 1.8 from Sony on there. The camera has a flippy screen. You've got all the buttons on the back that you can see. Flips over like so. The intelligent hot shoe on the top where you can have Sony microphones. You've got the built-in mic there. Comes with the wind muff in the box. The little switch there for switching from camera to video to S&Q mode. Big record button. And yeah, the few reasons why I switched to Sony was, one, the lens options. There's not many third-party lens options with Canon anymore. They've sort of stopped people using the RF mount, and the RF lenses are very expensive. So there's lots and lots of different options for Sony when it comes to lens options, third-party ones from Tamron, Sigma. That's one of the main reasons I switched. The other reason was this has a lot more video-centric features, like the image quality is unbelievable out of this for video specifically. It's only a 12 megapixel camera, so it's not sort of designed for photos, although you can take good photos with this for social media. It's more than enough. But the 12 megapixel sensor in here is basically the A7S3, which was legendary in the sort of content creators space for video production, and that is what you're getting with this camera. It's so good. I can't really explain how good the image quality out of this thing is. It's just absolutely amazing. Now, the third reason was I'll call them intelligent features. They're not really AI features, but they've got things in like the autofocus is now just miles ahead of anybody else, in my opinion. The eye tracking, the subject tracking is phenomenal. It's got something called AI reframing, because this is sort of downsampling from 6K. The sensor is 6K, so it uses that full sensor width to keep you in frame when you've got the reframing mode on, with just using like a digital reframing option. You've got that, brilliant for solo content creators. You've got the background blur, which is great if you can't afford a really wide aperture lens. You can still get that background blur with the processing inside of this. You've also got the PRODUCST showcase, which is something else brilliant for YouTubers. If you've got a tech channel, you can use PRODUCST showcase, and when you hold a product up to the camera, it just focuses on that product. It really is phenomenal. Like I said, more video centric. It also has clear zoom, so if you haven't got a zoom lens, like this is a prime lens, you can still zoom in because of that 6K sensor. It's got the zoom rocker. You can zoom in, I think only 1.5 times, but it just gives you that another option for content creation. It really is a great camera, I've got to say. Everything about it, the build quality, I love the switches. The doors open nicely and click nicely. The screen's nice and bright. The build quality is great. It's small, so you can sort of use it easily. It's not too big like my old Canon R6 I'm using for this video. It's pretty good. The one thing to know though is if you want to use the 4K slow motion, the 4K 120, you need a really fast SD card, and that will probably set you back around £70 in the UK. So just know you need a really fast SD card to get the best out of this camera. So it's something you have to buy as well. But apart from that, this camera's pretty much flawless, I've got to say. So if you're somebody that uses it, a camera for a lot of video work, then it's probably one of the best ones you can buy. It really is.